Hi, today we will consider the process of urbanization in Soviet Kazakhstan in 1950-1980. We will talk about achievements, contradictions, and results. So here's the content. So let's start our presentation. As you know, by far, the USSR was one of the two great power countries with America. The Soviet Union has a directive planned economy which always needed to develop progressively, plan by plan. So, in 1950, it was finally a time for Kazakhstan cities to start the urbanization process. Cities in Kazakhstan were the result of the implementation socialist settlement system, shaping the system as urban. In the same way, rural settlements contributed not only to administrative, military, political, and trade economic factors, but as well as the development opportunities for industrial and transport infrastructure of the socialist economy. So, what is the urbanization? Well, urbanization refers to the concentration of human populations into discrete areas. This concentration leads to the transformation of land for residential, commercial, industrial, and transportation purposes. Urbanization occurs because people move from rural areas to urban areas. This usually occurs when a country is still developing. Here's the table which shows the dynamic of the population in the cities of Kazakhstan. At the period of 59 and 1970, we can see that the population of small cities, which originally had less than 50,000 people, and big cities, which had 100,000 people and more, has doubled, while the index of medium cities, which had from 50,000 to 100,000, didn't change noticeably. At the period of 1959, 1970, and 1979, the difference is only about 30,000 people. It is seen that there was a noticeable increase in population in cities and a major loss of people in towns and villages. I suppose it's interesting how the index of urban population and the index of rural population are correlating with each other. For example, at the period of 59 and 70, we can see that when the cities were getting 7% of growth of population, while the towns and villages were losing those 7%. I suppose that this is a big achievement of urbanization. Now let's look at the problems of urbanization. The first one is a high unemployment. A large number of people, both foreigners and locals, were suffering from a lack of jobs. Thus, they cannot provide their accommodation in cities, which is why the unemployment rate was growing. The rate of growth was too fast that the demand of jobs was not enough for all citizens. The second one is urban infrastructure issues. Both cities and towns were suffering from high levels of wear and tear in the entire urban infrastructure. Rural movement of residents in cities creates an additional load, since initially cities were not designed to accommodate so many residents. Not enough housing, urban transport is overloaded, not enough schools, hospitals, and kindergartens. And finally, the migration of people from the villages and towns to the cities created a shortage of labor and specialists, due to which the infrastructure suffered and there were problems with working class in there. I conducted a survey about urbanization in South Kazakhstan. There were 4 questions in general and 30 answers from the students of SNIT. We can see that most of the students think that urbanization was important for our country. Now let's get to the conclusion. I can say that despite the fact there were many contradictions like unemployment, urban infrastructure issues, and lack of labor in villages and towns, the plan of urbanization went as expected and brought many people into cities to ensure the development of the USSR. So here's the references. Thanks for watching.